Tell us a little bit about what you saw and being able to relay that message to Cora when you watched Kimbrel pitch and kind of help out so he wasn't tipping his pitches.
So tipping pitches, we hear about it all the time.
People at home understand what tipping pitches is all about.
It's amazing.
And that's remarkable.
Alex, it's been a while since we did an episode of Tipping Pitches where we were like, should this be a basketball podcast? And thankfully nothing's going on in the world of baseball and finance in the last couple weeks.
Correct. So we're free to talk about, we're going to do 90 minutes on Matt Ishbia.
Oh, I would like to do 90 minutes on Matt Ishbia, actually. I read a really good Substack post on the airplane on the way to Denver,
Ethan
Colorado.
Strauss. I know you're locked into everything he works on.
Well, actually, I edit Ethan Strauss's blog, so I don't need to read it.
Dude, you have no idea the pang of excitement I saw when I saw that an Ishbia was having financial issues, and I was like,
This is the Ishbia who's gonna, or no, this
no,
is
it's
his brother Ishbia.
That's what I'm saying.
Matt with one T. Don't mess it up.
I had to Google it. I was like, Ishbia White Sox, and I was like, it's Justin.
Did you read the AI overview when you Googled it?
I did.
I saw some discourse this past week that was like, interesting how all of you are anti-AI, but you won't stop using the AI overview in Google. And someone else was like, you can't shut it off.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you mean?
You don't have a choice.
Am I supposed to just stop using Google? They taught me how to use Google in school.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that in school.
Yep. Yeah. They're literally nuking the actual search function. So you have to use the AI overview.
No, actually, though, they've destroyed the search function.
It's crazy.
On every website and every app.
Insane.
It's really bad. We got to fix the internet. I don't know. Who's going to do it?
And we're doing it right here.
Are you going to do it?
I did vibe code a new internet. Dropping tomorrow.
New internet just dropped.
Claude, make me an internet. Make no mistakes.
Someone should do something about this. Someone should make potentially a podcast about how the internet used to feel. What do you think about that? No, okay. We're here to talk about the National Basketball Association. We're not here to talk about Matt Ishbia.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're sitting kind of closer than we usually sit.
We are.
Like
I love it.
Reach across and shake your
We are
hand.
holding hands.
Shake your hand. No, we're here to talk about Mark. We're here to talk about Mark, the name Mark.
Right. And maybe a little bit of Marks
with
as
a
well.
C, spelled with a C.
Mm-hmm.
M-A-R-C.
Yeah.
Shams Charania reported in ESPN that American business leader Mark Stad or Stad, who cares, has completed
S-T-A-D?
Yes.
Okay.
Not like Stad, the lifestyle brand.
Mm-hmm.
Not like that. The one who does like the New Balance collabs.
Right. We got sick collabs though.
We know all about sick collabs. American business leader Mark Stad has completed a deal to become the controlling owner and largest shareholder of the NBA's Minnesota Timberwolves and WNBA's Minnesota Lynx by buying the majority of co-owner Mark, that's also Mark with a C, Lori's stake. Make sure you spell Lori, L-O-R-E, which is spelled like lore, but say Lori. Stake at a $4.5 billion valuation, sources tell ESPN. Now, why am I talking about this? Tell the listeners why I'm talking about this.
Well, because the one constant through all the years, Bobby, has been A-Rod.
Yeah.
The Timberwolves have rolled by like an army of steamrollers. They've been rebuilt, erased, and rebuilt again. But A-Rod.
Deeper.
But A-Rod has marked the time.
Thanks for
marked the time.
He's marked with a C, the time. No, so A-Rod and Mark Lowry purchased the Timberwolves together. We have talked about this at great length on the Tipping Pitches podcast. If you're new here from maybe you've joined because you've seen all of our great posts.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you've joined because you've seen all of our great YouTube videos. We've always wanted to be YouTubers. We've always wanted to be YouTubers. We've been chronicling the ownership tenure of Mark Lowry and A-Rod and the fact that they didn't have enough cash to actually buy the team and then went into litigation with the former owners, Glenn Taylor of the Minnesota Timberwolves. And after less than 2 years since acquiring the team fully, A-Rod's money guy has bailed on him.
Mm-hmm.
He's left him out in the lurch.
Yeah.
And how dare he?
How dare he?
What do you think our guy's feeling right now?
Well, it's worth noting that this is as you've mentioned, it's a mark neutral deal, right? so the equilibrium of marks in the franchise has not changed
Correct.
fundamentally, and even
We've balanced the scale of marks.
it's what he
Sort
would have
of
wanted.
a materialist approach to owning the Minnesota Timberwolves. Ownership is theft unless your name is Mark.
Frankly, I'm disappointed myself because I'd done a lot of work understanding what Mark Lowry looked like.
Describe him. This is an audio only medium.
Well, he is a bald man. I would say
He is hella bald.
He's very bald. And that's not a pejorative. I think he works it very well.
He looks great bald.
He looks really great bald. He has somewhat of a diminutive stature, I would say. He's not the biggest guy, especially next to Alex Rodriguez. I think Alex Rodriguez, you could say, frame mogs him.
I'm just going to let you keep going.
Okay.
Frame mogs him. Get the fuck out of here.
But it sort of felt like the Batman and Robin of the NBA, right? Now, what does Robin do without his Batman?
You're saying A-Rod was Robin.
I think he was Robin in this
Not
case.
in the frame situation, though.
No,
A-Rod was more like Batman. Sort of what rubric are we working on?
It's
Are
true.
we working on how much money is in the bank? Are we working on height? Are we working on how jacked? What's A-Rod's love life looking like these days? You feel like you always have the finger on the pulse.
Ooh. I'm not as well read over the last few weeks on how things have been going with his new beau.
Beau, B-E-A-U.
B-E-A-U.
You love French. You love the language French.
I do. Mhm.
Francais. You like that?
I like that. That was good. Speak a little French for me.
Mark's dad made his money. This is really good, actually. From the Dragoneer Investment Group.
That's
an
sorry,
American-
to be clear, that's the name of it?
Dragoneer Investment Group. Dragon,
Okay.
also known as Dragoneer, is an American investment firm based in San Francisco, California. Where else would you base an American investment firm? The firm focuses on technology investments in both public and private markets globally. Stad was an investment professional who had previously worked at the Investment Group of Santa Barbara, TPG Capital, and your favorite company, McKinsey & Co.
They're a growth-oriented investment firm. I love growth-oriented investment.
What kind of investment firm can you be besides growth oriented?
Yeah. We're a losses-centered investment firm.
No. We like hold steady.
Yeah.
We're a stagnation firm. Oh, they made a SPAC deal. So A-Rod's gonna love them.
They've had not one but 3 SPAC deals. They're well versed in the SPAC universe.
How do you have more than one SPAC deal? I thought when you go SPAC, you don't go back. You SPAC it and you're on the market already.
I think you can you're basically creating the SPAC, right? You can create a SPAC for whatever purpose you need. This is Dragoneer SPAC 1.
I understand it less now. I thought okay, here's how I thought SPAC worked.
Mm-hmm. This is a special purpose acquisition company.
Correct. And it's like a company that doesn't do anything but is already listed on the stock exchange.
Mm-hmm.
And then another company merges with this company basically for a nominal amount of money. And then now that company can be publicly traded. It's like a way of fast tracking your way onto the stock market without having to file an S1 and go through all of that bureaucratic process. A-Rod did this with A-Rod Corp. He SPAC'd it. Right?
I don't know that it was A-Rod Corp specifically, but there was like a telecom deal that he was doing.
Yeah. You're right.
It was like cheap cell phones or whatever.
Here are the venture capital investments of Dragoneer. I just have to say, we could have been in the room when they named it.
Mm-hmm.
We could have given them some notes.
Dragoneer.
Airbnb, Alibaba, Anthropic, Atlassian, Dollar Shave Club, DoorDash, Uber, Waymo. They're playing every side, and they don't really care who wins.
No, they OpenAI is on that list as well.
Oh yeah, there they are.
DoorDash,
Klarna. You use Klarna, right? For groceries and stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's how I finance my burritos usually. Yeah.
Listen, the burrito taxi's not going to pay for itself. Klarna's going to pay for it. They invested in a company called HackerOne. You think they do good stuff?
They're the leader in continuous threat exposure management.
Yeah.
You know them. We use them, in fact.
Unfortunately, they invested in Slack. Bad investment. I hate Slack. I love all the people in our Slack. I hate Slack.
Right. Well, it's more
The
about
product.
it's more about the venue than the individual like community that works in said venue.
Yes, correct. The product doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know, like when you get a message and then you click on the message, it doesn't take you to the message.
Mm-hmm.
Or perhaps when you have a notification and you go and then you read the message that the notification was for, then the notification stays.
Right. Yeah.
When you want to paste a link and you do Command K, which is the universal shortcut for pasting a link on the rest of the internet, for some reason it starts searching.
That's good. That's good.
I hate Slack.
I know you do. I'll let you cook. I don't care.
hate Slack. What are we talking about? We're talking about Mark Stad.
We're talking about Mark Stad. Yeah, real capital allocator.
I can't wait for the deal episode about this.
I know.
It's going to be good stuff.
It is going to be good. Well, I haven't heard any word. You heard the word?
I have not from Rod.
From, oh my goodness.
There is a page 6 story about A-Rod right now about a video that he posted and him wearing really tight pants, and page 6 wrote a story about his bulge.
Jesus Christ. Fire when ready.
First, well, I've heard that Kim Jong-un has 57 of them.
One of the great joys I've had in my career is spending the last few years helping build the Timberwolves and Lynx with my friend and partner, Mark Laurie. I'm very excited to announce that this incredible journey reaches a new level today. Mark and Elisa Stad, who've been our partners and friends since we bought the team.
So you're going Stad.
So I'm going Stad.
All right. I'm going Stad.
Okay. I think it's good for us to have a little healthy disagreement here. We'll be increasing their investment and joining me as co-chairman. I will also be increasing my investment.
Wow. Where does he get
with
the
what
cash?
money? And spending even more time with the teams as
Maybe the
co-chairman,
SPAC situation worked better than we thought.
governor of the Lynx, and alternate governor of the Timberwolves.
Oh, he's governor of the Lynx.
He's governor of the Lynx.
So he's got to go to the governors' meetings.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny that they call them governors in the NBA.
I know.
God, that is so funny.
Woke 1.0 was crazy.
Man, dude. Remember when there was NBA players in the back of their jersey during the pandemic said group economics?
Mm-hmm.
God.
That was sick.
I wish we had that in baseball.
I know.
I wish we had an image of Bryce Harper wearing a jersey that said group economics.
Yeah. It said make America healthy again.
Right, literally.
It sounds like A-Rod's energized.
I mean, he's the governor of the Lynx now.
He's the governor of the Lynx.
And he's the alt governor. This is in case Mark's dad is unavailable or dead.
I guess. Right. What's the line of succession? Is there anyone third in line?
But I think it would
Is
only
there
be
a designated survivor?
like a person that can't be in the room with A-Rod.
Right.
Maybe that's you.
You can never attend Timberwolves games in case.
Maybe that's you. Maybe that's why he's turned down our many advances.
Right, yeah.
He's not allowed. He's legally contracted to not be in the room with us. Otherwise, we might lose him.
I think that's it. Yeah.
I wonder how his book is going. Because that's going to be our shot to get him on.
That will be the
We
shot.
couldn't get him on for the documentary, though. We got the next best thing, the directors of the documentary. Remember when we did that?
No, that was awesome.
But when the book comes out, he's got to come on the podcast to talk about it. By the way, our star is rising. Our profile is getting bigger. The baseball world is coming to Tipping Pitches.
Yeah.
They're talking about financial crimes. They're talking about margin calls in the sports world. We got stories about insurance premiums,
self-dealing.
When we talk about self-dealing for
private
years,
equity, yeah.
I was born in self-dealing. You merely adopted it. Pablo Torre. I've been talking about self-dealing since you were on First Take, bro. Pablo, I'm just kidding. Come on the podcast. A-Rod will have to come to us.
I think so.
And we will immediately ask him about his stance on the Democratic Socialists of America. All right, we have podcasts to do.
That's right.
I don't know if it's going to be a good one.
I think it is.
You feel really confident about this.
I do feel really confident about this, mostly just because I'm really excited to talk about this story.
I'm a little gun shy about talking about the Dodgers because many people are potentially bots are threatening our lives in our comments at the moment, and I'm fighting these wars. But today we're gonna talk about Mark with a K, Walter.
Mhm.
Here's where he went wrong first. Spelled his own name wrong.
Yep.
Mark with a C gets to hang out with A-Rod. Mark with a K, they're throwing him in the slammer. Any day now. Change your spelling, Mark. We're going to talk about Mark Walter's alleged financial crimes, and then we are going to do a part 2 of Dodgers Myths Busted. We'll explain that more in just a second. Before we do, I am Bobby Wagner.
I am Alex Baisley.
And you are listening to Tipping Pitches. Thank you to this week's new patrons, Tom, Davis, Joel, Justin, Mantej, Timmy, Vero, Cooper, Zachary, and Kevin. We appreciate your great support, funding the wonderful work of Alex explaining self-dealing on the podcast.
That's right.
I'm just winding him up like a toy car. He's getting ready to go. He's getting ready to explain the risky investments based on insurance premiums that Mark Walter created his empire. The whole media world's been calling it an empire all week, Alex. What is it? What's happening?
Sorry, I just found the A-Rod video.
I know.
This is crazy.
Fire when ready is right.
This is insane. Jesus Christ. Shut it down. Shut it all down.
No, dude, you have some financial journalism to do right now.
I know.
You're like the modern Aaron Ross Sorkin. You're like Aaron Ross Sorkin.
I think it's Andrew Ross Sorkin, isn't it?
You're right.
There's Aaron. You were thinking Aaron Sorkin. And
merged
you're the modern Aaron Sorkin.
I kind of am.
Yeah.
I kind of am the modern Aaron Sorkin. Constantly on meth, constantly overemployed. I think people would be shocked to find out that I'm not on a stimulant.
Yeah.
I think I'm the one who's bringing the stimulant energy to this podcast. But guess what, baby? That happens naturally.
It's
It's just me and caffeine.
It's all raw.
That's all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even on an SSRI. Doing it raw.
Oh, what happened? Mark Walter. He's the Dodgers.
The whole sports world has come to a screeching halt about the story that Alex is about to explain.
Correct.
Which is crazy because this is the most Tipping Pitches core story
Yes.
that I can think of that's happened in years. In years.
Yep. Yeah. So Mark Walter, Dodgers controlling owner, CEO of Guggenheim Partners.
You're going to have to take the patch off in disgrace.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Ceremonial ripping of the stitches.
Is under investigation by federal investigators and SEC over whether his business empire committed billions of dollars worth of fraud by concealing that roughly $20 billion in loans from his own insurance companies went to companies that he also owns. Routed through an intermediary.
To many people.
Many people, you and I have been here. It's a headache to figure out. I get it. They make it really hard. So I get it. I'll give Mark his due, right? Sometimes you forget to carry the one. Since this story broke, which is just only a few weeks ago,
Which broke via an exclusive in the Wall Street Journal.
yes, yeah, and so yes,
Really good story.
really good story. Encourage everyone to read it.
This is a complicated issue that was explained very clearly.
Yeah.
By them.
Yeah, so that was back at the last week of July or something like that.
It's more than just good opinion columns over at the Wall Street Journal.
Jesus Christ. Walter's been kind of on a liquidation sprint, you could say.
Yes.
The guy needs cash.
Did we discuss him selling the Lakers on the podcast?
I
Or
think
maybe on Patreon?
I think we referenced it on Patreon.
Yes. Mark Walter, who bought the Lakers 1 year ago, has sold the Los Angeles Lakers to Joshua Kushner and Bob Iger, the former CEO of Disney, who's more of a celebrity investor. Kushner's the money guy. Kushner doesn't have enough money to buy the Lakers for $12.5 billion. He brought in a lot of Middle Eastern money, which is cool
Mm-hmm.
and good.
Only a matter of time before it makes its way over to us.
I mean, the bill is coming due for all these guys at the moment, by
Yeah.
the way. We've been saying the bill was coming due on the financialization of America and its impact on professional sports, but man, it really feels like some dominoes have started to fall.
Mm-hmm.
So he sells the Lakers for $12.5 billion to get
Yes.
about $8 billion in liquidity back because that was the amount of the Lakers that he owned. So there was other ownership stakes from the Buss family, the original owners of the Lakers.
Yes, he has been negotiating to try and sell his stake in Chelsea as well. And I think I saw reported tried and failed to get Charter to essentially buy its way out of the Dodgers TV deal as well. So he's looking for any cash that he can get whatsoever, right?
He's pulling some couch cushions out.
And
he's flipping the mattress.
Yeah. And the crux of this, right, is like these are insurance companies that
he's
hold
doing flips on the subway.
right.
Yeah, it's hat out.
Dude, Mark Walter and Showtime. These insurance companies hold people's retirement money, right? So regulators are like, well, if you're going to do that, you need to make sure that the money is here decades from now, right? So
this
they
is
scrutinize every loan.
The last regulated thing in America.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Enjoy it while it lasts.
Because Mark Walter pioneered this kind of trade.
Yeah.
Taking money from the rest of your insurance premiums. But key part of this is that it's a big no-no to take this much. It's kind of like there is no exact amount of money that you can or can't take in loaning yourself from these insurance premiums if you own insurance companies. But you can't take this much money and you can't not disclose it.
Right. And it's that last part that's really important, right? Like if they generally are like, I think, yes, discourage you from making loans to yourself because that's how insurance companies blow up. But if you do, you note that. You say, these are loans I made to companies that I also control, and they're what's known as like affiliated investments, right? They basically took $20 billion worth of these loans and said, these are unaffiliated.
They took how much?
that is 20,000,000,000,000 dollars. And said, no, that sits with someone else.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also means like these retirees' money were basically propping up like other portions of Mark Walter's like business empire, right? Other businesses that he controlled.
I think that like in the modern American financial world, I think there's an understanding that when you pay your money into a pool of things, for example, you pay into a mutual fund. Some people's retirements are invested in mutual funds. Some people's are invested, like with insurance companies. Like some of your money goes towards these things, and the understanding is that it's going to be reinvested in the stock market so that this money can make money and we can take advantage of our favorite thing. Alex, what's that? The time value of money, of course. However, I think that there is not an expectation that they will just literally take that money and apply it to acquiring other companies to amass equity.
Yeah.
And to amass just net worth, like to increase one individual person's net worth.
Yeah. Yeah. What regulators want to see is diversification. Right? They want to know that all of this money is not hinging on, say, one
Diversity
businessman.
is so back.
That's the real DEI.
Literally.
Diversification, equities, and investments.
Bravo.
So
what does he have to do? And how does this affect the Dodgers?
Well, I'm so glad you asked, Bobby. There may be some myths that we need to bust around this in particular, as well as the myths that we're going to get to in a little bit. I mean, what he actually has to do, how much money he needs to raise, all of these things, it's worth noting. Like, it's unclear what penalties he's facing are not laid out. Sort of what's at stake here, but
I saw reported that it was expected that by the end of the year he owes about $6.5 billion in money, in cash,
in dollar bills.
Yes.
I
think it's probably not literally U.S. legal tender, but it's like, annuities or like like money.
Yeah.
Liquidity.
Yes, the actual liquidity.
Bonds.
Yes, screenshot of your bank account that says, I have access to this money.
It's like owning from a landlord or renting from a landlord in New York City.
Yeah.
Like, last 3 months?
Yeah.
Yeah. The federal investigators are like, we got to see this.
Right. Ratings agencies are all of a sudden like pulling back from some of these companies. Lenders are asking for like double-digit interest rates. Like he's feeling the squeeze on all sides because of this specific thing. I think one of his longtime investment partners has started like pulling back from some of these deals as well. So he needs cash. So that's hence the sale of the Lakers, hence some of these other things. He's he's been offering Guggenheim equity, his own Guggenheim equity, as like loan collateral. And yes, and ultimately, he is having to unwind about $6.5 billion in loans to his own companies.
Don't you hate when you have to pay yourself back $6.5 billion?
Yeah, it's the worst.
This is like when you have a scheduled credit card payment and you realize you didn't have enough money in your checking account and you have to get it from your savings account and move it over or something like that.
Yeah,
only you used your savings account to buy a building or something like.
Yeah, I think one of his insurance companies had told regulators only 3% of our investments are affiliated. That number was more like 42% of our investments. Big difference.
By your assessment, is Mark Walter doing crimes?
I mean, yes, sure.
Yes.
Is he doing crimes that are different from any of the other crimes being done right now?
It does feel very subprime mortgagey to me, what he's doing. He's like borrowing against fictional money to acquire real things.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I don't really understand this all that well.
Right. I mean, it's...
What I know is here's the phrase of the podcast. You guys are about to hear the phrase of the podcast. He's robbed Peter to pay Paul.
That's right. That's right, brother.
In exchange, Paul gave him the Dodgers. Paul was like, you got it, dude. Here's the Dodgers. Paul, in this analogy, is Frank McCourt. Sorry, is the bankruptcy court that handed out Frank McCourt's assets.
Yeah. Incredible run that the Dodgers have been on over the last 15 years.
I think. All right, so should we start talking about the Dodgers?
Let's talk about the Dodgers and like what, if at all, this means for them.
There's a couple different things.
What, if at all?
What
if anything?
If at all, this means.
It means at all.
Okay, there's a couple different angles that I would like to talk about. One, were the Dodgers acquired with money that Mark Walter didn't actually have, or rather maybe shouldn't have had, as personal liquidity and equity?
Mm-hmm.
Two, what parts of the Dodgers' current revenue streams come from companies that are exposed to the risk of this situation? Because there has also been all of this kind of like hard to parse reporting about how some of Mark Walter's companies own stakes in other companies such as Sportsnet LA that obviously pays the Dodgers $330 million for their TV deal. And three, does this mean the Dodgers don't have any real money?
Mm-hmm.
Has all of this been fictitious Enron style maneuvering, accounting, and all of the guys who have deferred their contracts are now at risk of not actually getting them, and that's why the Dodgers have been deferring all of these contracts?
Right.
Shall we answer those orders shall we answer those questions in chronological order?
Yeah, let's give it our best shot.
Were the Dodgers acquired with money that didn't exist or that Mark Walter should not have had?
No, the money existed. Should Mark Walter have had it?
I think my answer to this is yes.
It's okay.
I think Mark Walter clearly acquired the Dodgers with money that was gained through this practice.
He
should not have had that much liquidity at the time.
Right.
Now, the Dodgers were acquired as a distressed asset, so Mark Walter got them for cheaper than probably anybody should have gotten the Los Angeles Dodgers, a premier franchise in America, and he has run them like he has a lot of money on hand. So there's like this gray area in there about whether or not he was acting so gratuitously because he wasn't really worried about this money. That being said, I do think he will have to now sell the Dodgers back and probably at a profit from what he acquired them at to pay back some of this money.
It's possible. I don't know that I'm confident that that's what's going to have to happen.
You don't think so?
I honestly don't feel in a position to be able to make that prediction quite yet.
Who would buy them though? Let's get into that for a minute.
Should we just pivot entirely and find the Dodgers a new owner?
That was one of our best pods when we found the A's a new owner.
That's right, it was.
I was really pushing for the lady who founded Dolby.
I know.
Because I like their theaters. I like their speakers. All right, so we don't know. We don't know. But some portion of Mark Walter's net worth was acquired through this practice, if not a large portion, then at least a plurality.
Sure. Yes. And definitely I think there was reporting that at least some of the money put up for the acquisition of the Dodgers came via this insurance annuities business, right? Something like $1.2 billion or something.
Is that it?
It's just that.
Yo, can I be real with you now just for a second? We can be like, pause this exercise for a moment. I kind of like didn't really think that Mark Walter was putting up his own money for the Dodgers. In my head, I was always like, Guggenheim owns the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Guggenheim, who manages like $1 trillion in assets.
Right.
And that's why they have so
right.
much
It's
money.
one of these things where like none of these owners are actually the people who put up all the money for it.
No.
You get a bunch of people together and get in the room and you slice up the pie and then you say, I'm the face of it. And then now you own a baseball team.
I mean, and kind of in the same way that, like, yes, Steve Cohen is paying his personal money to fund the Mets or whatever, but that personal money comes from Point72 Capital, an incredibly capitalized investment firm that has in no danger of going out of business, just like Guggenheim. So Mark Walter could take that money and invest it in the Dodgers because that's something that Guggenheim would want to do. Now, Guggenheim is a private equity firm, so on paper, in theory, they weren't allowed to own more than 15% of the Dodgers ever. So it would have had to have been an individual. And we always knew that Mark Walter was the governor. We always knew he was the principal owner. But I kind of thought it was just like, yeah, he takes some money from Guggenheim, which he owns a huge stake in. And he reallocates it to his own personal account, and then he puts it in the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Sounds like that's not what he was doing.
Yeah. No.
Maybe he should have been doing that. That would have been more palatable to people. Federal regulators wouldn't have given a fuck about that.
No, they wouldn't have.
Maybe Guggenheim shareholders would have cared.
Yeah.
Maybe they would have been like, we'd like to invest in Saudi arms deals rather than Otani. But really, what's the difference these days? Because they're all just investments on a spreadsheet.
Yes, exactly. And that's why it's like, it's important to like draw distinctions in all of this because it's easy to be like, well, Mark Walter owns.
You're trying to say that we exist in the context from which we came.
I'm saying let's have a little bit of nuance. You know, I know everyone online is very good at having nuance. I've been seeing a lot of very level-headed discussions about this and the Dodgers in recent days. I think everyone is reacting very normally to it. And everyone
consensus is that the Dodgers have no money and this is an Enron situation.
Yes, and that they were doing fraud, and really every World Series title in the last few years has an asterisk next to it.
I think the biggest asterisk World Series is the Rangers one. Because first of all, they bought that team, through free agency. They didn't earn it.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, they used Dakota Access Pipeline dirty money to do it.
Yeah.
That's actually not a joke.
I know.
I actually believe that. That's dirty money. They shouldn't have had it. And number three, they're playing the fucking Diamondbacks. Mickey Mouse ring, dude.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Thank you for
100% agree. No, I like people are like, well, so this must mean the Dodgers have no money, right?
This
money.
is the second question.
This is the second question, right? Are the Dodgers like, are they broke? Are they?
Yeah.
Was this so fraudulent? And realistically, I mean, the answer is no, right? Like the Dodgers are a massive behemoth entertainment enterprise that generates. I don't know if you've heard of this. They make a lot of money.
Yeah, they make $1 billion.
That is like real money that they make. So if anything,
and
these investments were like propping up all of Mark Walter's non-baseball businesses.
Exactly. Baseball is the one business that the money could get cleaned through.
Yeah.
I felt like I was losing my mind listening to people talking about this because, yes, there is this like tenuous connection between Mark Walter and the local TV contract, like the Sportsnet LA contract, that like his insurance company, like through this, he owns part of that company. So they're sort of like passing the money back and forth. By the way, we have no problem with this when it's an AI company doing this for microchips or whatever. Like this money that's fake and being passed around billions and billions of dollars every day to the same three companies who prop each other's value up and don't actually provide a service in the world.
Yeah.
That's fine. But this is not okay.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not here to be like white collar crime is fine and Mark Walter should be able to do this with people's investments. I think Mark Walter should sell the fucking Dodgers if he doesn't have the money.
Yeah.
Who cares? But the Dodgers business is a real business.
Yes.
Sportsnet LA did not choose to give the Dodgers $330 million a year to put them on TV because Mark Walter was standing there with a gun to their head being like, do this. It's bad business for you and we all know this. It's a fucking boon for them. Sportsnet LA is the last great RSN because of the Dodgers.
Yeah.
The $330 million that they give the Dodgers is probably a good deal for them because you know what? Everybody likes the Dodgers in California and they like winning and they come out to the ballpark. And I know that's not part of the Sportsnet LA contract, but that's also part of are the Dodgers a real business question? Yeah, dude, they sell tickets.
Yeah.
We have the numbers.
Yes.
We can look at them. We know what they make. Now you could argue that a lot of people are arguing, and then maybe this brings us to the third question, which is like, are the Dodgers going to run out of money because of this and not be able to pay the deferred contracts? And is this why they were deferring the contracts? So the money was fake to begin with.
Yep, you got it. It was that easy. It was that easy all along.
You forgot the one part. The clues.
Yeah, right. Right. Famously, if you tell Major League Baseball you're deferring contracts, they don't check. Right?
Dude,
they're
okay.
like
So
they don't care. You can just do that.
Everybody listening to this knows how deferrals works. We've busted this myth. We busted this myth on the last Dodgers Myths Busted episode. When you defer a contract, you have to pay the net present value of that contract, which is a complicated accounting principle. But for the purposes of this podcast, think about it like 2/3 of that contract, because you pay that into what is a reliable account. There's a lot of different ways that you can prove that this money is here. And I suppose you got me. There's no way of me proving that Mark Walter did not bamboozle Rob Manfred into thinking that that money was real and he wasn't actually putting it away. He was putting it somewhere else. Got to be honest, whoever acquires the Dodgers next is going to be able to make enough revenue to pay out these contracts. It's going to be okay.
Yes.
Even still, they're putting away the money one way or another because it comes in to the Dodgers organization. It doesn't get paid. The $330 million for the Dodgers TV deal doesn't get paid to Mark Walter. It gets paid to the Dodgers holding company, and it gets audited by the MLBPA when that money is reallocated towards player salaries.
Yeah.
If the PA is letting them get away with like not having secure, financial assets backing some of these contracts, then yeah, we have a big problem on our hands. But and it's unprecedented amount of money that's been deferred. Sure. But also, if the Dodgers had a liquidity problem, why are they paying a $30 million signing bonus to Blake Snell?
Right.
Why are they paying a $50 million signing bonus to Tanner Scott or whatever? They're paying out a lot of money now in the present too. Sure, I guess you could argue that we'll just use Ohtani's contract, that he makes $70 million AAV, right? But that they actually only have to put away $45 million of that in this account for him to then grow, to make, to appreciate in value based on the time value of money. I suppose you could argue that the extra $25 million that Mark Walter saves from that, he's siphoning away from the Dodgers and using it for fraud. I don't know.
I suppose,
but
yeah.
who cares?
Right.
Well, that's what every owner does.
Ohtani went to the Blue Jays and Giants and said, "Do you want this deal?" And they said no.
Every owner takes the money that they save from baseball and applies it to other parts of their life. We have 20 owners stealing money from the game.
Yeah. I don't think that's the salient argument. I don't even think you can make that argument because that's just a misunderstanding of how these things. The Dodgers are the best business in baseball.
Correct.
Are you under the assumption that owners are the ones who sit there and every time you need to pay someone, Mark Walter's like, well, it's coming out of my bank account, so let me make sure I have enough in there. Like, I'm so sorry, guys.
It's like It's a Wonderful Life.
With all due respect, are you fucking stupid? I feel like I'm going crazy here.
It's like you're like a park attendant at Disneyland, and every time you need to get paid at the end of the week, you have to go to Walt Disney. Yeah. Be like, sir, please give me cash from your wallet. It's not how it works. It's not how it works. Okay? Is there fraud here? We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. Nobody knows yet. Seems like it.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like he wouldn't be panic selling the fucking Lakers if there wasn't a real problem on his hands. But what do I know what that real problem is? No. I do, however, know that the Dodgers make money. Do you think that they're not getting paid for all the ads they're selling? Do you think Uniqlo just put their name on the field for free?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think all those billboards in Japan with Ohtani wearing Dodgers gear, Do you think they didn't pay to license that Dodgers image? Do you think all the jerseys that they're selling with Ohtani's name on the back in kanji, do you think the Dodgers don't make money from that? Do you think people go to Dodgers games for free? Do you think the $70 million that they get from MLB's Central Revenue Fund for national TV rights goes away? Mark Walter takes that money and he's like, sorry, guys, I got to use this one for me. And no one from the Dodgers ever says anything.
No.
The CFO of the Dodgers, the other investors in the Dodgers, the other ownership members of the Dodgers, Magic Johnson, is not like, where'd that money go? Do you think that when the Dodgers win the World Series, that playoff revenue sharing check just vanishes?
You could make an argument that there are elements to the Dodgers where there is certain beneficial treatment that they get, specifically around revenue sharing and all the money that they get through their TV deal, and the fact that a significant portion of that revenue that they get is exempted.
Yes, we're going to talk about that in a second.
Which we will get to in a second. But like, those are Dodgers specific considerations. It does feel like everyone was looking for the easy explanation as to why the Dodgers are able to do what they've been doing, And the easy explanation, sure, is, oh, well, they were doing fraud, right? The reality is
it's a really easy explanation,
right?
Oh,
it's
fraud,
really
the fraud.
Oh, well, they were doing fraud, and that's how they
sort
were
of
doing
Joe
it.
Rogan-esque explanation. He's like, there must have been fraud here somehow. It's like, okay, can you explain the fraud that you speak of?
Yeah, there was fraud happening, it was touching the money of retirees, right? It was like routing retirees' money through
to personally enrich a person who then becomes an MLB owner, which
through Miami shell adjacent like intermediaries.
And we let these sports oligarchs get away with this in legal ways all the time. How do you think they became billionaires? By extracting money out of something that they should have had no right to extract this money out of. Mark Walter did it illegally. Mark Attanasio did it legally. Mark Walter did it illegally. Steve Cohen did it illegally too, by the way. The SEC just made him pay a fine and then they let him keep on rolling. Of course, David Rubenstein, the biggest private equity hack that the 21st century has ever seen. The guy who was in the room with the Bin Laden family on the day of 9/11, figuring out how to invest their royal funds. This guy owns the Orioles.
Yeah.
And we're like, he's great for the game. It's absurd. They all stole the money that they got to buy the team and fund the team.
Yeah.
And then they also wash that money through the team and make it seem valid. They sports wash. We sports wash here too.
Yeah.
Sorry, I feel like I'm yelling at our audience that already agrees with us, but I just feel crazy talking about this story.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that the key point that we have been hitting people over the head with, right? But the Dodgers and Mark Walter are two separate entities. They are two separate businesses. One might hold the other, one might control the other.
And money
but
certainly
doing
flows
crime
from one
over
to the
on
other.
the right side, and sure, yeah, doing crime with this company over here does not mean, well, that must mean everything that other company was doing was also all fraudulent. Like that's just not how this stuff works.
And I think people have this image in their head that Mark Walter has full control over what happens with the money that goes into the Dodgers organization. And in theory, sure, he does. He's the control person. He controls the decision. He has final say on what happens with the Dodgers organization. He signs off on all the Andrew Friedman trades. He signs off on all the sponsorships. But there are other owners in the room. They're not just like, yeah, he can take all the money and do whatever he wants with them. Those owners get paid out dividends too. Those owners get paid money from revenue sharing too. It has to be there.
Yeah.
It's not like when the mafia does racketeering on a bar that they acquire and just takes all of the money out of it and no one is there to see what's happening. This is a business that we have a view into that is unionized, that the union gets a view into.
We don't have a view into it.
I mean, I wish we did that.
But we get a glimpse every other week on the Patreon.
This makes the audit of the Dodgers exponentially more interesting.
That's right.
Okay. We're done yelling about Mark Walter.
For the most part.
Specifically.
For the most part.
Can we now do Dodgers Myths Busted Part 2?
I think so.
In 2025, in February, we did an episode called Dodgers Myths Busted. This was a way of attempting to talk about the things that we saw people say about the Dodgers on the internet a lot that were misinformed or like that they were confused about. And those things at the time were relevant to what was going on with the Dodgers. We did talk about deferred salaries and we explained how deferred salaries work. So if you're interested in us doing an actual deep dive about that isn't just in tweet threads arguing with bots, I suggest you click on the link in the description and listen to Dodgers Myths Busted Part 1. We also talked about how the revenue sharing system works, how the Dodgers, even if they make significantly more than a smaller market team or a middle market team, that extra money that they are making, that extra revenue that they are pulling in is helping the rest of the league. And not every big market team is making significant, like a huge gap apart from every other team below them, the way that the Dodgers are.
Yeah.
So the revenue sharing system, you can't really talk about just one team compared to another team. It exists contextually. All this money is going into one centralized pool, and the Dodgers are contributing.
The Dodgers just fell out of a coconut tree.
Exactly.
Come on.
The Dodgers are just contributing slightly more. If anything, they're helping the rest of the league more than some of the other big market teams. Certainly teams that are just ducking the luxury tax every year. The Dodgers are helping them more. So we talked about that. We also kind of busted a few myths about how the Dodgers get every good player and get every good Japanese player. And so we did on Dodgers Myths Busted Part 1. Or as Alex would say in his native French, Part 1. Now here on Part 2, and you speak French because you're Quebecois. And you'd like French to carry through a spirit of Quebecois freedom onto the Tipping Pitches podcast.
That's right, brother.
Just verifying. You're not imperialist French, you're Quebecois French. Anyway, back to the podcast. We'd like to do Dodgers Myths Busted Part 2. You alluded to our first myth already. It's the Dodgers TV revenue exemption that comes from the court bankruptcy ruling in the early 2010s. The myth. Let me state the myth to you.
Yeah, tell me the myth.
And you tell me what's true. The Dodgers don't have to follow the rules of the revenue sharing system. They get to keep their local revenue.
Partially busted.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, given that they pay more.
Sound clip of Alex saying partially busted.
Partially busted.
Long pause. Fuck yeah.
Me every time we talk about A-Rod.
Fire again. It missed. Fire again. Another one.
As you mentioned, the Dodgers, who pay more than any other baseball team in luxury tax payments, right? That money goes to other teams, right? That is like from a luxury tax perspective, they're putting a lot of money already towards subsidizing other teams' payrolls. They also have an incredibly lucrative TV deal.
Yes, they do.
Of which pays them roughly, give or take, $320 million a year.
Yeah, 330. I think.
330.
334.
Okay.
This is true. Now, $100 million of this is exempted.
Yes.
From revenue sharing.
Yes.
If they were following the letter of the law, 48% of that money, which is just less than half, 48%, 50% is half. So about $160 million of that money should be paid into revenue sharing. They have an exemption on $100 million of the earnings. So it changes the denominator, and instead they keep an extra $66 million. So they only pay about $100 million into revenue sharing when it should be about $165. They've taken that money and they've allocated it. Certainly. They do. This is a quote unquote unfair advantage. But where I want to bust the myth is that the Dodgers pay less in revenue sharing because of this. They still pay more because the rest of their earnings aren't exempted. Ticket sales, which they outsell, merchandise, which they outsell. Obviously, they contribute to what the playoff revenue pool is that the teams share equally. They sell. And a big part of this is that they then spend over the competitive balance tax and give that money back to the small market teams anyway. Would they have that money to spend over the competitive balance tax without this exemption? Yes.
Yes.
So it is free money, but they would be able to spend this amount on players either way. They contribute to the revenue sharing pool more than any other team. Almost $200 million last year. And now they've had some of their best financial years ever in the last couple of years since signing Ohtani, which anyone could have done, by the way, which was nearly double the next biggest team. So yes, they saved the $66 million. I don't know how you can possibly make the case that they're not the biggest financial boon to the rest of the league.
Correct.
They are.
Yeah.
That extra $66 million would be an extra $5 to $8 million for each revenue sharing team.
I don't know. That's a middle reliever right there, Bobby. I also do want to point out, and I've seen some others point this out as well, but like, are the Dodgers dodging some revenue sharing obligations?
They are.
They are. Are they the only team doing that?
No.
Do you want to know who gets to do that? Every team that owns their own RSN. Because you are then on both sides of that deal. You are the one who pays a rights fee, and you are the one who receives a rights fee, and you get to negotiate what that rights fee is, even though the money goes to you either way. So if you pay yourself
the right hand shaking the left hand,
if you pay yourself a below market rights fee deal, well, there's your local revenue. It's not actually that much money. The money is going to the RSN, which is not baseball revenue. That's a separate. That's a media business.
Yeah,
that is not baseball revenue. That's subject to revenue sharing.
For example, the Wilpons owned SNY for the entire time that they owned the New York Mets. In order to dodge revenue sharing, the Wilpons could have said, well, the Mets' rights are only worth $50 million. And SNY selling ads on Mets games could make $200 million a year. That extra $150 million is not part of revenue sharing.
No.
And is this practice discouraged? Yeah. I mean, are teams who own their own RSN supposed to be doing this? No. But who's going to enforce that? Rob Manfred? Does the FCC have the ability to enforce this, to come in and audit these deals as to whether or not there's money laundering going into this? No, of course not.
Yeah. Well, and this is why this conversation matters for the CBA fight as well.
Yes.
Because these are some of the questions that are very central to this idea of like what baseball revenue is, especially in a world when the business of baseball is so diversified.
Yeah.
In all of the shell companies and the LLCs and the team-owned RSN deals and the real estate, like all of these things are nominally not baseball revenue in the eyes of the league, which to ownership is great, because the more money you can redirect to all of those entities that surround the team,
the less the players are responsible for.
Exactly.
Or entitled to,
yes.
And we did this video with More Perfect Union that came out last week, and we focused a lot on the Marlins, and they got the biggest revenue sharing check in 2024, I think it was. They got $70 million national money, as listeners of the audit will know. That's their share of the annual national money. They got $70 million in revenue sharing. So before selling a ticket, before throwing a pitch, $140 million. They spent $85 million on players. Now, someone commented on the video and said, in the Braves' public financial statements, because they're publicly owned, the Braves have a line item, and they report very broad financial statements. The Braves have a line item that says that it costs them $200 million a year to run the Braves, not including player salaries. $200 million a year to run the Braves.
Yeah.
How much of that is buying buildings in the Battery? How much of that is improving units so they can rent them to people in the mixed-use buildings surrounding the stadium in Cobb County? We don't know. It is far more beneficial for them to artificially inflate the number of what it costs them to run the Braves than it is to be honest about how much they're spending and how much they're earning to show a bigger profit, to have to pay taxes because they are actually audited because they're publicly traded. So yeah, find anything that you can spend money on. It's the same thing that you and me do with our business. We find things that we can spend money that are related to our business. When we're recording the podcast, we have dinner together.
Yeah.
When the year is ending, We buy new audio equipment to replace the things that are broken. It's the cost of doing business. Except with MLB teams, anything could be the cost of doing business because the Braves are the ones who own the fucking real estate around the Battery, but the players don't get to participate in that.
Yeah.
And of course, neither do the fans. The tickets don't get cheaper because the Braves own the building or buildings around the Battery. The tickets don't get cheaper because, the Ricketts have transformed Wrigleyville. The tickets get more expensive. So citing that the Braves spent $200 million to run the team separate of payroll has next to nothing to do with what the Marlins spent to run their team.
Yeah.
Does the home run statue cost them $200 million? There's nothing I see about how the Marlins organization is run that I could justify a $200 million spend on running the team.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the claim that you see a lot, right, is the Dodgers are why other teams can't spend, right? The Dodgers are why other teams can't compete. The answer is almost that.
Yeah.
Right? The Dodgers are why your team doesn't have to compete.
Yes.
The Dodgers are why your team doesn't have to spend
because they pay them for free either way.
Because they're cashing that check on Jan 1.
And that
not literally, but
that doesn't get better with a salary cap and a salary floor. That gets codified with a salary cap and a salary floor. The revenue then becomes so divorced from what each individual team does and how strong of a business each individual team is running. I mean, look at the New Orleans Pelicans. Like, what are they doing? And they make the same amount of money as the Cleveland Cavaliers because they're both in the same market size.
I don't know. What are the New Orleans Pelicans doing?
They're like...
aren't they also embroiled in some sort of like financial controversy?
Yes.
Are they going to have to sell the team?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool. What a time to be alive.
They're stealing money away from the team. The most profitable league in American sports history, the National Basketball Association, where Adam Silver negotiated a $12 billion rights fee for a sport that no one wants to watch until June.
Yeah. God, sometimes
season starts in October and they don't watch it until February.
Our plans are measured in centuries. I'll tell you that much. 9 years of doing this, and we've been waiting for this week, frankly. There are weeks when decades happen. I'm going to see if there are any other turns of phrase I can get in here.
Yeah.
Owners of the world, unite.
Owners of the world, unite. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people are like, yeah, but then they have to spend on players. They have to spend up to the salary floor. I guess. What is that? 3 relievers?
Yeah.
I mean, are they going to be able to spend on the good players just because there's a salary floor? I genuinely am. I wonder what people think will happen when this happens. If this happens, I should say. Do you think people are going to be like, I don't want to play for the Dodgers anymore? Do you think the Dodgers are going to like fail to figure out how to maneuver the cap? Do you think the Dodgers are going to be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
There's a different number now that we have to target towards? The Dodgers effectively reset their luxury tax before signing Shohei Ohtani. They know how to do it.
Yeah.
They just don't care about doing it anymore because they actually want to get the good players.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Bobby, in the other capped major sports leagues, generally speaking, I think we're seeing teams play by the rules.
Yeah.
You know? I think that's the most important thing here is once you set a cap and a floor, you're right. There's nothing else the teams can do above the table or below the table. You just have to go out and spend.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but it's the hard truth.
Yeah. Scandal free,
I would say is the NBA's salary cap league.
All right, we're busting a lot of myths now. We've gotten away from the Dodgers TV situation. I'm driven crazy by the cap and floor.
I know.
Question.
I know.
And I just have to ask people, like, it is a little bit of like a common sense, like just step away for one moment and ask yourself this question.
Right.
If it was going to cost the owners more money, why would they do it?
Mm-hmm.
And if everybody makes the same amount of money now, why would someone go play for a different team? You take away the question of a team being able to actually make their own fate, and you take that out of the equation, and you just say, what team would you like to play for? And the answer now still
is
the
the
Dodgers.
Los Angeles Dodgers, because have you seen that ballpark and have you seen where you get to live? And like, well, I mean, I disagree on the second point, but on the first point, it's a pretty nice ballpark.
I mean, if you're rich, it's nice to live in LA.
If you're rich, it's very nice to live in LA. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Let's move on to the next
Okay.
myth.
Mhm.
I'd like to move away from the money question
Mhm.
and quickly talk about a baseball question.
Okay.
There's this myth that's been going around since the trade deadline that was exacerbated by the Tarek Skubal trade because I think a lot of the prospects in that trade were not that famous. And Tarek Skubal is the back-to-back Cy Young winner. The myth is Dodgers prospects are secretly bad, but they're propped up by the media. Would like to read the name of some prospects that have moved in this Dodgers era.
Mhm.
I'm not going to include what someone on Reddit included, which was Roberto Clemente or Pedro Martinez, who were technically Dodgers prospects. That's not what we're talking about here.
Yeah, Christy Mathewson. That one hurt.
Yordan Alvarez.
Mm-hmm.
He's the best hitter in baseball. Now, he wasn't Yordan back then. Couldn't have predicted what he was going to become, but he was a Dodgers prospect.
Yep.
Miguel Vargas, all-star second baseman for the Chicago White Sox this year. He was bad on the Dodgers, but then he became something good.
Mm-hmm.
Did they give credit for that?
Yeah.
Was that propped up? Keibert Ruiz and Josiah Gray. Two trickier ones. Keibert got an extension from the Washington Nationals because they were so excited about how good he was, and everybody was obsessed with him. Even after he went over to the Nats, he had already debuted with the Dodgers. He went over to the Nats. Everyone's like, "This guy rocks." They gave him an extension. He's been bad since then. Is that the Dodgers' fault? Josiah Gray, who was good on the Nationals when he first came over, and now his elbow blew out. Is that the Dodgers' fault? That he hasn't been able to get back from that injury? And then the last two, Michael Busch, who's just been a really good player for the Cubs since he went over there, since he was with the Dodgers in 2023. Just a very solid player, probably better than you expect to get in return as a prospect. And Gavin Lux, who was good with the Dodgers when he was with the Dodgers, who a guy I was really in on.
Yeah.
Eviscerated his knee in spring training after going over to the Reds and hasn't been the same since. I know this doesn't sound like a murderer's. This does not sound like the 1927 Yankees. However, most trades don't lead prospects. Most prospects don't pan out.
Yeah.
Most trades have exciting prospects in them that turn into nothing. There was a good segment on Shea Station, the Mets podcast, with Jolly and our friend Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
It was just with Jolly. He did it solo, where he ranked every Mets trade since 2015, I think, 2014. Every trade deadline Mets trade. And there's like two good prospects in return. I mean, you just don't get good players in return for trade deadline trades.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't really even understand the claim here. Is it that the players that the Dodgers trade away are not actually good? The prospects that they trade away are not very good? Yeah, that's probably why they're trading them away. Why are other teams trading for them? I'm confused.
Because they've been hoodwinked and bamboozled by the liberal media.
Yeah, right. I'm just like,
who keeps putting them high on prospect lists.
Is the claim
because
that
they keep getting payments from Mark Walter illegally.
The Dodgers don't know how to develop players? Because that's insane, right? I mean, that is like obviously insane. You can point to some Will Smith, like Walker Buehler, like getting Max Muncy, picking him up from the A's and turning him into like that makes me feel like I'm crazy.
Damn, Will Smith is so good.
Will Smith is so good. Andy Paez.
Yeah.
Like I almost don't even know how to bust this myth, because I'm sort of like, you're right. If you haven't watched baseball in the last 15 years, you probably think that the Dodgers don't develop prospects very well. But as you said, the vast majority of prospects that get traded don't pan out. That is what the owner that is what the GM on the other side of that trade is kind of banking on, right? Yeah. Is you recognize that 20% of the guys, that's high, 10% of the guys that you trade for are going to pan out. And you're okay with that, right? Now, I don't want to get into like uncomfortable conversations around like how these guys think about like human capital, and what is or like what isn't expendable and surplus value and all of that. But that's how these guys are thinking about it. These GMs recognize that there is no such thing as a surefire prospect. There's barely anything. There's barely such a thing as a pitching prospect, period.
But also, what's crazy about this is that And I think what gets missed in this conversation a lot, because not a lot of like media looks at the game the way that we look at the game, which is through like a strictly financial, like honestly, like materialist lens.
That's right.
But like the teams that are trading away stars aren't trading away stars because they're not good at baseball anymore. They're trading away the stars in the modern context since the capital strike of the mid 2010s. These teams are trading away these players because they don't want to pay them, not because they don't want to have them on the team. They're not trading them to get better. They're trading them to get cheaper. Better is just gravy.
Yes.
I mean, better is icing on the cake.
Right.
If you actually get future value out of these players, that's a fucking boon.
Of course.
Most of the time, you're just trading so that you can get team control, which
Right,
is not
yes.
team control. Does not mean that you have a good player. It means that you have 6 years of cheap cheap labor.
Yeah.
That you can actually put a professional player on the field who was a prospect that you can sell hope to your fans. It's actually putting a uniform on and going out there, because that helps them forget that you traded away the player that they actually liked, who you knew was actually good.
Yeah.
It's a financial transaction, not a baseball transaction. The Tigers didn't trade away Tarek Skubal because they wanted to get better. They traded away Tarek Skubal because they knew that they didn't want to pay him what he's worth.
Right. And so they said, let's get something in return instead of letting him walk in the winter.
And the something in return is a lower payroll.
Right. A lower payroll and a few flyers on some guys who, if they turn out, wonderful.
I think under these strict rules, I think some GMs tried to do a good job with the baseball of it. But the irony of this myth is that it's a way worse deal to trade with the Rays than it is to trade with the Dodgers, because they are way better at acquiring players that are good from your org and bad in their.
Correct. If the Rays would like one of your players, you should
say no
and develop him on your own.
I mean, you could say no to the Dodgers, but they actually call and want the good players who are expensive. The Rays don't.
Yeah.
You know, you think that you're doing the right thing by trading cheap reliever for cheap reliever. But this myth should apply to teams that are savvy across the league. Don't trade with the Brewers. Don't trade with the Rays. Don't trade with the Dodgers. But the thing is, no one else wants to buy these players. No one else wants to trade for these players at the trade deadline, except the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Who has traded for all of the best players at the trade deadline since then? Who has given away the incredibly valuable financial asset of team control to other teams? Who has floated this to the rest of the league? They went and got Max Scherzer and Trey Turner. They went and got Tarek Skubal. You can say that they're making it impossible to compete, but this opportunity only exists because the small market teams want to give these players away more than the Dodgers even care to acquire them.
Yes. They are so anxious to give the players away that they and look, I don't know how these conversations go. This may be.
I think I do.
Well, this
we got to get 24 years of team control out of this trade.
Sure, but I'm not going to assume that the Tigers GM, who I can't name. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Even take another call though.
But no, I know. But
3 days before the deadline.
Oh God, I know. Yeah, but I'm not going to make the assumption that this is the Dodgers' first offer, and he was just like, fucking sure, why not? Maybe this was his dream package. Maybe the Dodgers offered something much worse like earlier, and he like negotiated up. Whatever, I don't care.
Good for him.
Good for him. Exactly. Yeah, but that's kind of my point, right? Is like, I don't know. It's the myth of like trade deadline consent, right? It's like the Dodgers, I consent. The Tigers, I consent.
You forgot to ask fans of the Reds.
You're right. Exactly. Mr. Red 9141108.
Rose for the Hall 6969.
Just like, I don't know. I like I said it before. If you're mad that the Dodgers trade prospects that don't pan out, you should tell your team to stop trading for prospects or ask for better prospects.
I have bad news for how the player flow is going to work under a salary cap system. It's going to be a lot of Dodgers trading good, highly touted prospects for other players, major league level players.
Yep.
Going to be a lot of that. And it'll happen earlier too. It'll happen when the players are still in ARB.
Yeah.
Because the players will be too expensive in ARB for the smaller market teams. Okay. I'm sure there's prospect people who would say that we haven't effectively busted this myth that a lot of the Dodgers players have failed when you would have expected them to succeed. But again, we are ignoring
a lot of players. That is what prospects are.
Exactly.
That is literally the
almost all fail.
Function of prospects. That is why there are massive minor league systems, is because most of those guys are not going to make it to the major leagues.
Correct. Ahmed Rosario was the #1 prospect in baseball. He stunk. He came up with the Mets. He was immediately bad.
Yeah.
If they had traded him away for a good player, would it be like his prospect reputation was a myth? No. I mean, they just called him up and he stunk.
Yeah. So it happens.
Yes.
I think, these are people who are just mad at the concept of baseball. I don't know how to get through to them.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're selling you hope, right? The teams that are trading for these players are selling you hope. They don't actually really. I mean, again, like I said, it'd be nice if they turned out good. It'd be nice if they got this team the next batch of cheap, controllable players when they traded them away again.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like irrelevant because there's the draft every year where they're going to get like 40 of these players either way.
Yeah.
You know, someone has to be a top 15 prospect for a team that can't develop prospects.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's the Dodgers guy or their own guys, someone's going to be that guy who's going to come up to the majors. It's just nice when you can make it seem like you tried to get someone who was better.
Yeah.
From the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The final myth. I'd like to revisit the myth of revenue sharing.
Okay.
Did we already do this? Did we already talk about this?
I mean, on this episode?
Yeah. Did we already like effectively explain how the 48% thing works and if the Dodgers make more money then everybody else makes more money? That was kind of the myth that I wanted to go into this.
I mean,
the
that was a
more
little
the
bit of-
Dodgers make, the myth here is the more the Dodgers make, the further they get away from everybody. Because they think it's like, oh, well, the Dodgers just have to pay like half. And when their half is bigger, they get to keep the bigger half. It's a shocking lack of understanding of how math and proportions work. But did we do an okay job of busting this myth?
Yeah, I mean, this speaks. There's some overlap here with the first myth that we busted around specifically like the are the Dodgers skirting revenue sharing rules, right?
Yeah.
But again, even with that said, even if you make the argument that they actually should be dispersing roughly $50 million more per year than they already do, like you said at the time, is that the thing that is like going to make or break the difference for another team? I don't think so. The Dodgers are already sending more than $100 million, right?
Yeah, like more like almost $200 million.
$200 million. Is that good? Is that a lot of money? Or is that a little bit of money? Like if you divide that up between the dozen or so 15 revenue sharing receivers.
Yeah, I mean the Marlins got $70 million in revenue sharing. Like the most recent number that we have for them is $70 million in revenue sharing.
Mm-hmm.
If you take the Dodgers $175 million and you split it 15 ways, pull up the calculator real quick.
Mm-hmm.
That's like $12 million to each team, but it's proportional.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Marlins get more of that money than a team closer to the fat middle of the bell curve would get for like the Rockies or something like that.
Yes, the point of
so
it
the
is
Marlins probably get like $20 million like straight from the Dodgers,
directly from the Dodgers. The Dodgers pay the payroll of like half their team, and
well, yes, that's actually true. And by the way, I know this is kind of like an uncouth thing to say because baseball is such a regional sport. Look at you, you're sitting up straight in your chair, ready for the uncouth statement I'm about to make.
Seriously.
You know, you come to this podcast, you come for the
goosebumps.
I'm about to lock in and be the bad boy of tipping pitches. I'm about to make an uncouth statement here at the end of the pod. Everybody get ready. We're at the uncouth statement hour.
Mm-hmm. This is dark woke.
Baseball's a very regional sport. I do think that's part of its identity. I think it's important. I think we should preserve that identity as much as possible. I'd like small market fans to feel like they had a chance. The truth is they do have a chance. The truth is that there are 10 to 12 small market teams who do have a chance. You know, small market based on their revenue sharing receivers who have a chance right now. In fact, the Dodgers are like the sixth best team in baseball this year so far. No one really believes that they are actually a true talent sixth best team in baseball this year so far. But baseball is fucking random. You have a shot. The Royals won the World Series. The Cardinals have won multiple World Series.
The best team in baseball right now is the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yes, the Rays have made it multiple times. We've been badgered many, many times over the years for saying that the Rays don't actually want to win a World Series.
Yeah.
Apparently they want to win a World Series, according to the media. The money that these teams get, the Pirates, the Marlins, the Brewers, the Reds, the Rockies, all these teams, the biggest chunk of it is from national media deals. Do you know why ESPN and NBC and Netflix and all these other league-wide national media companies pay what they pay? It's not for the Rays. It's not for the Pirates. I'm sorry to break it to you, But the money coming into the league is because of the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Mets and the Giants and the Phillies and the Braves
And the Cubs, maybe.
and the Cubs. They don't give a fuck about the other teams. That money wouldn't exist without these teams. I realize that that's a hard pill to swallow, but we haven't created a perfectly even playing field because America is not interested in creating perfectly even financial playing fields. If they were, we could talk about what that would look like. But right now, the proposal that's on the table about evening this playing field, blowing up the revenue sharing team and doing quote unquote 100% revenue sharing, whatever the fuck that actually means. A lot of people keep saying 100% revenue sharing to me in our replies. And I'm like, I don't think you know what that means.
Yeah. What?
We're already kind of doing that. We're already like the teams that make more money are giving and the other teams aren't giving.
Yeah.
So we're already doing this. If you wanted to do that, the proposal on the table is not really about doing that.
Yeah, I mean, correct.
Everybody can make the same amount. All players can make the same amount of money for all I care. I know our friends at the Players Association are not going to like hearing me say that, but I really don't care. I really don't care what each individual player makes. I care that players at the top of the market make what they make to set the rest of the market to help other players downstream get paid. I care more about what the minimum salary is than what Juan Soto makes personally. But that's just like my perspective on wages and compensation.
Mm-hmm.
But the proposal is put on the table so that the owners can take a bigger portion of this.
Yeah.
So that the revenue sharing system, which is working in a way that it's not working perfectly, but is working in a way that you actually have to spend money on players for that for those revenue sharing things to be triggered. They would like to make it so that you don't have to spend money on those players.
Mm-hmm.
So that the revenue sharing is guaranteed. They'd like to take away as many of the requirements as possible. And I personally don't see how that helps competition.
No.
You just pay $20 million for a middle reliever, and then you get over the floor, and then you still have a 70-win team.
Correct.
But it costs $125 million instead of $105 million.
Yep. Yeah. Is that much better? That's the product that we're interested in watching?
I mean, we're all arguing till we're blue in the face about that. That's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Right. Meanwhile, you want to know what's uncapped is revenues. You want to know what keeps going up? Revenues and profits and all of these things.
Yeah.
Where does the rest of that money go?
Haven't found it yet. Still looking.
Okay. All right. Check under the mattress. Check under Mark Walter's mattress.
I hope we don't have egg on our face. I hope by the time this episode comes out, like we haven't found out that Mark Walter has stolen all of the money from the Dodgers. That would be good. That would be funny.
I do hope that for the record, for the sake of this podcast, I hope that it comes out that the Dodgers were incredibly fraudulent. I mean,
they're fraudulent to begin with, right? Like 2020 Mickey Mouse World Series. 2024 another Mickey Mouse World Series because Aaron Judge can't catch a fly ball.
Yep.
2025, a third Mickey Mouse World Series because IKF doesn't know how to take a secondary lead.
Right. And because
if you chalk it up to like what they should have no World Series, probably.
Yeah, correct. Well, and because the deferrals were fraud, obviously, so they should never have been allowed to sign Shohei Ohtani. The league should have nixed that.
All right, Alex. The Dodgers. I'd like to. Can we have like a Dodgers moratorium? I say for
new
myself.
band's topic.
I don't want to keep arguing about this into thin air.
Yeah.
I'm touching your foot. Is this your foot right now?
It's not. I don't know what you're touching. It might be my backpack.
Some sort of bag. Oh, It's your backpack.
It can be my foot though.
Your popular knapsack. If you liked what you heard and you like deep financial,
more power to you.
I mean, like deep financial analysis of Major League Baseball, head on over to patreon.com/tippingpitches. Over there, we have two types of bonus episodes. One is called 3 Up, 3 Down, where we talk about 3 things bringing us joy and 3 things taking that joy away in the baseball world. That happens every other week. And in the interim weeks, we do something called the audit, where we audit the publicly available financial information to create an incomplete but a hazy and informative picture about how the 30 Major League Baseball teams operate financially.
Hazy, hoppy, it's all there.
I hate hoppy. Hazy IPA is the worst. Why don't you just drink a regular beer and then also lick dirt off the ground at the same time?
Right. Yeah. Or put like a brick in your belly,
drink a regular beer and then also take a shot of Everclear or whatever if you want more alcohol from it. Sorry to our friends who like hazy IPAs. Patreon.com/tippingpitches. Thanks for listening.
Hey, real quick,
Thanks for learning.
if you haven't already, head on over to the YouTube channel courtesy of More Perfect Union.
Yeah.
Well, there's some content on there you might find interesting.
We love to collab.
We love to collab. We love a crossover.
This marks the prologue.
What?
It marks with a C. The prologue of our career as viral YouTubers.
Mm-hmm.
Remember this moment, everyone. Thanks for listening to another episode of Tipping Pitches. We'll see you next time.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alex Rodriguez. Tipping Pitches.
Tipping pitches.
This is the one that I love the most.
Tipping pitches.
So we'll see you next week. See ya!